Hey everybody, this is Tell the Truth Sports Radio. I'm your host, Ron Fitch. And like and subscribe to my content. It's going to go next level going into the NCAA tournament. I'm going to try to put together a good Super Bowl, a couple good Super Bowl shows, try to get some guests. Um, I didn't get a chance to talk about the NFC Championship games last week. Had some issues. Life issues sometimes takes its course, but I want to talk about who's going to the Super Bowl. AFC, NFC. I'm gonna start with the Chiefs and the Ravens. The key to this matchup, if you look at the Ravens offense and the Chiefs defense, it's going to be huge because you got to stop Lamar. Of course, you got to stop Lamar Jackson, but you got to be able to stop Gus Edwards. You have to. And what Houston did, they blitzed a lot, 75% of the time last week, because they had to kind of stay close to the line of scrimmage because of what could happen with the running game for Baltimore. And, they got Gus Edwards and Justice Hill running downhill, and even Cook sometimes. You got to worry about that. But then Zay Flowers is tough. So you got to worry about that guy. And then even Aguilar and Odell could still give it to you, but I think Zay Flowers and Snead is going to be huge. Is going to be very, very huge matchup. Um, as far as Kansas City is concerned, that what's going to be important is how can their linebacking crew, Isaiah Moore and those dudes, deal with Isaiah Likely, and how they can deal with, because they're going to have to go mad. They're going to have to really put a lot of pressure on Lamar Jackson. They're going to have to limit his, like if it's 3rd and 8, you can't allow him to run for 16, 17 yards, because now you're the closer they get to the red zone, it's almost impossible to stop, because you got to worry about Gus Edwards, you got to worry about him, you got to worry about Jackson throwing the ball, you got to worry about their tight ends. Andrews is back. You don't even want them anywhere near the red zone. You want to get as many stops as you can if you're Kansas City. I think it was very, very important is Trent McDuffie and Zay Flowers, that slot matchup. That could decide the game, because you can't really, I don't know if you could zone Baltimore the way Lamar Jackson runs. And what he does, he runs to pass, because you could think he's going to run. He'll stop or he'll scramble. And as a scramble, Joe, you can't guard these talented receivers all for more than 8 or 9 seconds. Somebody's going to get open. Somebody might get open deep. And as good as Snead and McDuffie are, and Karlaftis and Jones are as far as rushing the passer, you're going to have to get home. You're going to have to play better than you did against the Bills, because you're not going to score. You might not score as much against a better defense, a healthier defense. Let's put it that way, because the Ravens are healthy, so that's dangerous. So what the Chiefs have to do is limit Jackson's rushing attempts. Stop. They're going to have to really, like they stopped the run last week at Cook. They're going to have to stop his brother and Gus Edwards and those dudes, because they're the key. When they're getting chunk yardage runs, now you're chasing after Baltimore. Now you got to stop the run. Now you're up in the line of scrimmage. The receivers can get behind you. Now you have passing lanes, because you got to play a vanilla defense because you're so terrified of the running game. Now Jackson can sit back there and pick you apart with Likely and Andrews. And then even Odell could get open in the slot. So, but Kansas City, if they want to go to a Super Bowl, it's going to have to be defensively. They're going to have to get stops, because their offense is not going to just go up and down the field. So they're going to have to win they're going to have to keep it in the 20s, because Baltimore averages over 31 points at home a game when Jackson's in the game. and they blew every great team out, every good team out. I don't think they're going to blow the Chiefs out, but I do think they're going to win, and because it's just too many problems they have. As good as the Chiefs defense is, okay, you could stop the running game. Now you got to worry about Jackson scrambling. You could stop the passing game. Now you got to worry about Gus Edwards and Hill and those dudes running downhill, gashing you if you're going to have a light box. You have a heavy box and you blitz like the Texans did, you got to get home because you don't get home. There's guys that get open quickly. And Kansas City's got to play a really, really disciplined, sound defense. But the scrambling of Jackson, if you could hit him and maybe turn him over a couple times, they have to turn him over a couple. They have to have Baltimore drop as far as their level of play down where they're making mistakes. And I've seen Baltimore kind of get discombobulated offense at times. But if they get in a rhythm and they run the ball, you're in trouble. You got no chance. If you stop the run, it's still gonna be difficult to win because of how good their offensive coordinators had Jackson and his crew more modern. So he still has his skill set he's using, but it's more modern. And I just believe that unless the Chiefs turn them over, they got a chance. But now defensively, the Chiefs are not just going to just run roughshod because Bills had injuries. They had 2 linebackers out there. So Pacheco ran crazy. Pacheco's going to run to a break. Now, you can run on the Ravens a little bit, but it's the NFC Championship game in Baltimore. This is going to be the game where Pacheco runs into a brick wall. And now Andy Reid has to come up with some adjustments. So maybe you go to the screen game. They're going to have to adjust on the fly because what happened last week, you're not going to get that. They're going to make sure Rice is guarded well. They're going to make sure Kelsey's guarded well. So that means Valdez-Scanlon's got to catch the ball, and he's got to play like he did last week, and even better. They might have to dust off Kadarius Toney. He can't make any silly mistakes. This is all hands on deck because you're not – and the Chiefs can't get discouraged if they're getting 3 and out and getting sacked and the things aren't moving like they did last week. If they're hungry and desperate and they're relentless, they got a chance. But if they get discouraged when Baltimore's stopping them and Baltimore's going to stop them, Pacheco's going to run and he's not going to get much, especially early. Now, if you get scores or they get to turn the ball over, that's when Pacheco could kind of hit you with a 10, 12-yard run. So they have to run the ball and stay balanced, but also they're going to have to make some really good passing plays. Then later, that opens the run. They're going to be amped to stop Pacheco. That's going to be number one priority. Make sure Mahomes doesn't have scramble lanes because Mahomes is a clutch scrambler. Third down, he likes on 3rd down 9. If nothing's open, he likes to just run, get the 9. He don't run for 10 or 12. If it's 3rd and 9, he'll get 10. Whatever it takes to just move the chains. He's a chain mover because he's a point guard. He'll have to score, he'll do it. He have to distribute, whoever is open, he'll do that. And this is the one time if Mahomes gets the ball late, I'm not sure that they could pull this out. It's 50-50. Because last week I thought Mahomes had the ball, they're running. They ran out the clock. If Mahomes had the ball, they're going to take care of business. This is a different game with Marlon Humphrey and those dudes, and Hamilton is one of the best safeties in all of football. And you got to watch him. What does Kansas City do when the running game doesn't work? That's the adjustments they're going to have to make. I just think Baltimore's going to win because it'll be a good game, but they're home. Just dealing with trying to figure Jackson out because they had trouble with Allen last week, and Jackson's faster. So if you're not disciplined in your rush lanes, Jackson will get 50. Like Allen will get 15 hard yards and will maybe run you over. Jackson will get 50. Now the whole defensive sequence is messed up. At the worst, they're going to get 3. At the best, they're probably going to score because they're very difficult. When you got that kind of run pass option, RPO, to throw it to tight ends, throw it to a bunch of receivers kind of offense. Now, Kansas City's offense is difficult because they're playing better. They're as sharp as they've been all year. They're in championship mode. So you're going to have to rip out this heart of a champion. But Baltimore has the horses. I just wonder if this is Jackson's time. I got the Baltimore Ravens. Now, my pick is the Ravens and 49ers to go to Super Bowl. I'm going to explain. 49ers and Lions. Now, they were talking about the Buffalo Bills when they lost to the Chiefs. They were talking about the GOAT, the kick, the guy Matt Bassett missed the kick. It wasn't that. It was Diggs dropping a touchdown pass. He was the biggest GOAT that kept Buffalo from having an opportunity to go to the Super Bowl. He took an opportunity for Buffalo away from the Super Bowl. The kicker of Green Bay kicked the 49ers into the Super Bowl by missing that kick that would have put them up 7, and the 49ers were a mess. Purdy threw 2 pick six that were dropped. There have been a lot of drops in the NFL by receivers and cornerbacks at crucial moments. And this is with the season on the line, you got heightened concentration, which is weird, these drops. But anyway, the bad 4th down try for Green Bay, couple of drops, interceptions. Green Bay completely outplayed the Niners. I knew it would be a tough matchup. I didn't know it was that tough. And Purdy was bad. Debo got hurt, and that's a mess when Debo's not out there. Debo's playing. And McCaffrey should be able to run against the Niners. I mean, the Lions. They gave up chunk yards in these last 2 playoff games. CJ Gardner-Johnson's back. That's going to help their secondary. I like the fact that the Niners went through a bad game. They're not going to have 2 bad games. And the Lions going to have to play. Now the Lions going to bring it because Dan Campbell's going to come to Frisco with an attitude. His team plays the way their coach is, their personality. So they're going to try to ball out. And Goff has been on fire. Goff has played against the Niners as a Ram. Now they're going to get off the Goff. The problem is Montgomery and Gibbs are not going to run wild like they have been because Greenlaw and Werner are the best. No disrespect to the Ravens, Raekwon Smith and Queen. It might be even. It might be a tie, but these are. It's like these guys because they cover and they smash you in the running game. It's like going against Mike Tyson and Holyfield combined. That's what they are. You go in the ring against both of them. That's what you're dealing with. That's what you're up against. And then the pass rush of the Niners. Can they get the Goff? Goff is not the moving target that Love is. And they get punched in the face. How they're going to deal with it on the road? Could have been at home. There's just a lot of tough elements that the Lions have to get through. Now, listen. The Lions haven't been to the Super Bowl. They haven't even been to a championship game since 1957. They're desperate. The fan base is desperate. They want to get to the Super Bowl so the Niners can now open the opportunity for Goff to get that game home and get the Lions to the Super Bowl. Or that could be trouble. The Niners have to go out there and it's got to be 14-0, 7-0, stop. 14-0, the typical Niner game. 17-0, and now the Lions are chasing them, and McCaffrey's run all over him. He's catching balls on 3rd down, 3rd and 7. McCaffrey catches the ball in the backfield, gives you 8, moves a chain. Kittles makes those big 20-yard seam route catches. Debo does every Swiss Army knife, does everything. Now I think you could run a little bit on the Niners because Jones ran wild on them, and you could pass on them. Ward is a good cornerback. Now he's handsy. He's the type of guy that commits pass interference penalties, but he's subtle with it. So he'll just come just ahead of the pass like he did last week. It's a pass interference penalty, but they don't call it because he's kind of a half a step ahead of he'll bump the receiver right before the ball comes. Or he'll grab him. He'll do little things where they don't really call it. He's kind of handsy. Now, if they call it, that could be a problem. But he's a good corner, but that's the one thing I did notice about him. Eno Tofunga. Does that hurt them against the Lions? Will that hurt them against the Ravens? He's one of the best safeties in all of football. He's not there. And Love had some moments. And he also ran. He's a good run stopper, too. But I like the 49ers to win. By 10. Can't be this one. you can't have the same game you had against the Packers because the Lions are so desperate. They're going to make the kick. If it comes down to that, they might CJ Gardner's going to catch that ball and it's going to be a pick six. So all the things they did last week, they're not going to be able to get away with. So they have to have a clean game. They do that. It would be the Ravens and the Niners. I talked to a Niner fan. He would rather, because he's already assuming they're already in the Super Bowl, and he'd rather play the Chiefs to get revenge for a Super Bowl. But you probably got to just settle for the revenge for this year with the Ravens destroyed them, and the Ravens are confident Lamar Jackson wants a ring. So we'll see. Those are my picks.